used to this cold
There,
weather.
that's better.
Hi!
I can hear you now.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, I was so worried. I was like, what?
Third time lucky. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. And thank you for joining. Hi, Mindful Tyler. I just
Hi,
waved to
Michael
everyone.
Tyler. Hi.
Okay, so how is everyone who's joining? Put your thumbs up if you're feeling good. Maybe you have a coffee. It's also Friday, so maybe you have a cocktail. I know that's where I might be heading later. So welcome to another episode of Next Down Nomad Chats. I'm Nicole, your nomadic IG live gal. And in these monthly chats, I get to sit down with fellow entrepreneurs and nomads who I find inspiring, and I know you're going to find inspiring as well. So today I'm super excited because at Next Stand, we're all about the healthy girl era. We're all about the healthy people era as well. So today I'm super excited to sit down with Michelle Tran. She is a Canada-based nutritionist and hypnotherapist. She's amazing. I also met her in Bali, and I also got some treatment from her as well. So I can highly recommend her. And she's here today to share her knowledge on staying healthy on the road and how to embrace body confidence more as a woman, but also as anyone. So we're all inclusive here, so everyone can join. So hi, Michelle.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So to begin with, how did you get into hypnotherapy and what inspired you to become a nutritionist?
I was actually inspired by my friend. I was always really interested in health. Always, pushing myself to fit and look a certain way growing up. And I didn't realize that until I started my practice of how conscious or unconscious I was about, trying to make my body look the best, because I thought that was really important. And then I went into my full-time practice as just nutrition. And then the pandemic happened. And I was wondering, why isn't anybody following their meal plan? And then it came to me and it made me realize that how we feel about ourselves shows up in how we show up in our life. So then I asked the question, how do I change how we feel about ourselves so we become more consistent, more devoted, so we follow through on what we actually want to do? A lot of people know what to do, but they don't do it. A lot of people desire certain things, but it doesn't translate into their everyday practices. And then I realized how important the unconscious mind was. And then I realized for myself that a lot of my unhappiness came from trying to fit myself into a box. And hi, Amanda.
Hi,
And then I decided, okay, like, what would make me really happy is not trying to do what everyone else wants me to do. And then I was like, I should move to Costa Rica. And then with Amanda here, I just casually brought that up one day, and I was like, I really want to move to Costa Rica. She's like, oh my gosh, me too. And then we followed through and we did it. And it kind of inspired this lifestyle of our life is whatever we decide it to be. So should we want to travel? Should we want to do this? Should we want to do that? We can. And I'm sure you hear it all the time when people are like, oh, I wish I could travel like you.
Everyone. Yeah, so many people say this to them. There's always like barriers that they put on themselves, like, oh, if I was rich I could do it, if I was this I could do it. And I'm like, you don't need to be any of those things to do it.
You don't need to be any of those things besides just deciding. And everything comes down to the decision. And with my clients, it's what belief is driving those decisions, which creates our behavior.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes down to, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, or there are conditions that we feel we need to match in order to be lovable. Like, I need to look good naked, I need to have a lot of money, I need to be working out a certain amount of times, So when we can also have those aspirations, because I'm not saying goals aren't good, but not on the contingency of how it makes you feel about yourself.
Yeah, I totally relate to that, and I think everyone listening would relate to that as well, in the sense of like dating as well. Like, a lot of the time we think like, oh, I don't like deserve that person unless I look this way, or unless I'm like this and this, and it all comes from inner confidence. So in your opinion, what does body confidence truly mean, and why is it important for everyone?
I think it's so important because I see how a lot of people are held back because of how they feel they look. So even going on Instagram Live And I can even see it for myself. Sometimes there's moments where I'm self-conscious to be on camera because I'm so caught up in what I feel people are perceiving me as versus this beautiful message that I get to share from other people. So it shifts from what do I look like and what do other people think about me versus the value I have to offer as a human being. And
Yeah.
and it keeps us from sharing our beautiful gifts with the world, from living our life. Like nobody goes back and it's like, oh, Michelle, like, you know, she was wearing that bikini and she didn't really look like she was at the gym. Nobody's
No.
thinking that. And
No, no, no. It's like in our mind,
it's in
only
our
in our mind
mind.
do we think these things.
It's in our mind. And I've had conversations with clients where I said, okay, well, if someone were to offer you a free vacation right now, would you take it? And a lot of people are like, no, because I have to like lose this and I have to lose that. And it keeps us, it limits us from experiencing life.
Yeah, 100%. And then with nutrition like playing into that, how does nutrition play a role in the way we feel about ourselves and our body confidence? And what misconceptions do you come across with your clients and everyone?
Oh my gosh, I need like so much time to talk about that topic. But I think that I will say that confidence really stems from self-trust.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can follow through on what you said you're going to do, you build a sense of confidence because you know that you can rely on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were to bring that back to fitness or nutrition, the knowing that you can rely on what you said you were going to do, whether it's meal prepping, eating a healthy meal, maybe saying no to sugar or alcohol, going to that fitness class, going on a walk, you know that I can even make a bigger dream for myself because these little things that I've set out, I've committed to them and I follow through on them.
Yeah.
And if we were to even talk about the physiological side of things, your gut communicates with your brain, and then your brain communicates with your hormones. Happy hormones are neurotransmitters, and that really shapes how we feel about ourselves. The happy hormones in there from our gut all really stem from there. So those gut feelings that we're having is really from having a healthy gut. So they all play into one another. It kind of just starts with, I think a lot of people have to hit rock bottom and say, I don't like feeling like this. And then that kind of pushes them to make these changes. And then once they start feeling relief and feeling good, then they're more likely to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, like since we met anyway, like almost 2 years ago, which is crazy. I like go to the gym a lot more
I
now,
see
and I
it.
don't think I look. Oh, well, I don't think I like look any different, but I feel so different from doing it, and I feel like so different for like how I feel about myself, and I like so yeah, that's I relate to that, and I think like that would be also my advice to people as well, is it really does change the way that you feel about yourself when you actually take the action and get into that routine.
And if we were even to bring it back to traveling, it's like the confidence of knowing that, you know, you can go into a room and meet new people, or you can lift your luggage onto, you know, that's like all those little moments when you're traveling, especially as someone that travels alone. It's that you can, like, you have your own back
Yeah,
and you can take care of yourself.
exactly. Yeah, although I do miss having a man when I'm solo traveling
I know, it's so nice.
to carry my bags. So with that then, with traveling, obviously it is really hard when you're moving around to stay on top of your health, and especially with eating, because like in Bali, for instance, you don't cook, you just usually eat at restaurants, so it's hard to like measure what you're eating or like, you know, the nutrition value of it. So what's your best tips for people trying to stay healthy on the road? I know you have, I've seen your packing, like I feel like you have all these like vitamins and everything, so share with me.
Yeah. Definitely being prepared is the most important thing. Amanda and I, we've developed a really beautiful system to take some of the comforts of home without being hoarders. Our first travel trip, we had like 5 suitcases because it felt
Oh
like
my
we were
God.
running away. But that was more so a sense of safety. We wanted things to help us feel safe. So it's that fine line of what do I need to feel comfortable, knowing that I might not get this abroad, and um, how can I do my best with what I have? So definitely the vitamins and the nutrients and supplements are really helpful, especially when you're in the airport and like, you know, a healthy meal is like $15, having like a nice green shake with you, protein, some really good
Mm-hmm.
granola bars. I always like to carry activated charcoal with me, just in case we get sick, because Bali water, remember, we were all sick
Yeah.
at that same time. But also being mindful, and I don't like to just push supplements because it kind of negates the fact that there's a massive lifestyle change that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to take something because it's easy and it makes them feel good. But we need to be mindful of what we're putting in, so we might not need activated charcoal. Plus, something like
Mm-hmm.
that is detrimental long term, so you need to make sure you're using it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say being intentional, you know? So if somebody wants to go out and they want to have a burger, that doesn't mean that you need to have a burger, but maybe choose a place where there's a burger and there's something else. And then
Mm-hmm.
just choosing really high quality ingredients, being mindful of the oils that they use, just having maybe a fibrous meal first. So having your salad before your burger, which is going to help level out your blood sugar. There's a lot of ways to do that. And if you do decide to eat something that isn't completely healthy, not being guilty about it,
Yeah.
just allowing yourself to enjoy it. Your body's always
Mm-hmm.
responding to our thoughts. So if you're telling yourself, I shouldn't have this while you're eating it, it's going to impact the way that you digest your food.
Mm-hmm. Do you recommend fermented food as well, like
Fermented food is
kimchi?
good. I love
Yeah.
kimchi. The only thing that I would say is that if you have an overgrowth of bacteria, and this is from like testing and like working with somebody and seeing certain symptoms, probiotics aren't the best thing, because you do want to make sure that you're killing the bacteria to level it out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think a really important thing is that context is important. Everything can be healthy and everything can be unhealthy depending
Mm.
on where you are in your body. But when in doubt, stick to stuff that just grows out of the ground, and
Ah, yeah, yeah.
eat a variety is what I would say, and eat in a relaxed state, because when we're
Yeah. Oh,
stressed,
yeah. 'Cause you said this about because I was like forcing myself to eat kefir
I know
because
you were like,
kefir's
oh,
so
I hate
healthy,
it, I need to
and you
eat it,
messaged me
and I
and you
was
were like,
like,
you're probably stressed so much that it's not having any effect on you.
yeah, because then our body correlates when we don't like something or when we're stressed. Say, for example, you're going through a breakup or something, and then you're eating something. Our bodies correlate the stress to that food, and then it creates a reaction to it. So, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of what we're seeing out, because our lifestyles are so stressful, is a lot of these allergies are popping up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big factor and something to think of.
Yeah, yeah. And then, so the other side of this is the NLP that you mix with the
Yeah.
nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So for everyone that doesn't know, what is NLP?
I love NLP. Tony Robbins uses it. A lot of really famous coaches use it. They just don't like label it. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, and it's basically using language to reprogram the mind. So it's very similar to hypnosis. Hypnosis gets you into a trance like state so that you're relaxed, and then I can speak to your unconscious mind and rewire it. Versus NLP, you don't necessarily need to be in a trance like state. And I just use pictures and words to change your perception and change your relationship with the rules in your head.
Yeah. And so then how does NLP and hypnosis work together to help transform people's relationships with their bodies?
I think it's more so having a whole bunch of different tools that I use
Mm-hmm.
versus, and it depends on the state of the client. If I find that a client is not easily able to get into that trans like state, I'll likely go with NLP first. But I kind of
Mm-hmm.
have a method to my madness of doing certain things first, and I get them to that state. So, for example, a really cool NLP tool that I use is, if someone. So I had this client that wanted to give up smoking,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important for me to address, okay, what is smoking, what does that need fulfill, like how does that make you feel? So I have to address that first, otherwise it won't work, because
Mm-hmm.
that belief is still there. For example, I have a friend that believes that he needs cigarettes to be creative because he's an artist.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
So he feels like, okay, cigarettes is part of his thing to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something we treat first. But for example, I can make somebody think that every time they're smoking a cigarette, they're actually holding a bloody tampon,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
they
Whoa.
won't be smoking
Okay.
anymore.
Okay, you need to do that for me and my nails because I mean you can't tell because I've got my nails like nicely
Mhm.
done, but I like pick the skin and okay, why am I saying this on live TV? But I like
Well,
yeah,
actually,
I'm
what you do is very common, and I actually
okay.
have a colleague that specializes in skin picking,
Ah,
and she used NLP and hypno
uh-huh.
and skin picking. Before we even get into that, I think that you can even bring it back to just noticing what you're thinking and feeling when you pick your skin.
Mm,
And I do that too sometimes
yeah.
with like ingrowns and stuff, or like my little gray hairs. So
Mm-hmm.
just notice, are you avoiding a feeling? Are you anxious about something? Like
Mm,
we want to do something with our hands to fixate, to
yeah.
relieve ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And so you find the root, and then you would then use NLP, like uh, that I don't know, my fingers are like rotten sandwiches or something, and then that would
Yes.
then rewire.
I could do that, but I think that it's even before. I think that would be like the last thing to just kind of
Mm.
seal it all in. I think the
Mm,
big
okay.
thing would be treating that, just getting to the root of what that anxiousness is, and giving your ability to feel comfortable feeling it. I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people feel like anxiety gets a bad rap
Mm,
when really it's an indicator that something is off. So when we
mm-hmm.
treat anxiety more like a symptom of our body's trying to tell us something's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a great messenger for where can we bring ourselves back into balance
Mm,
versus it's bad.
yeah.
It's not bad. It's bad
Mm-hmm.
when we have it chronically, and then we associate with it too. And I think a lot of people say things like, I'm an anxious person. And
Mm,
then we have
yeah.
ownership over anxiousness, which makes it harder for
Mm-hmm.
us to detach from it versus I'm feeling anxious.
Yeah,
So for you, it
because it's like attached
manifests
to.
in the fingers. It
Yeah.
manifests as that. So just
Mm-hmm.
notice, and then maybe just taking a couple deep breaths and just doing some tapping and allowing yourself, okay, I'm feeling anxious.
Mm-hmm.
I wholly and completely still love myself. I'm going to be okay. There's like a part of
Mm-hmm.
you that just needs to feel okay. And
Yeah.
you're doing that
Mm-hmm.
by picking.
Yeah, yeah. So when you said tapping, because I've seen people do this, do you mean like actually tapping yourself
Yeah,
somewhere?
so there's certain points. This
Mm-hmm.
is one,
Mm-hmm.
this is one, this is one, this is one.
Ah.
But the way that you started is you want to connect with the feeling. So if you're anxious, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? And then you want to feel into that feeling. And then you can say affirmations to help let it go and make it okay. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
anxious, but I wholly and completely love myself. Although I'm feeling this anxiety, I can let it go. And you'll go through the whole round of tapping. You
Mm-hmm.
reassess again and you want it to be 0. And then you put in positive affirmations of like, I know I can do this. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
okay. And you're connecting to meridian points in the body, which help to activate your nervous system
Mm-hmm.
to help it relax.
Ah, that's cool. Okay, I didn't know that, so I'm definitely gonna like start doing that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
And
it is. I'll
then
send you a video.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. And then so obviously at Next Stand we're all about posture
Yeah.
and
Yes.
improving, pain relief for when we're working at the desk. So, okay, first actually, have you received your Next Stand? Because I didn't
Yes,
ask you
I
this
did.
before. You
I did
have,
receive it. I
okay.
did receive it. I haven't
Hmm.
used it yet because I think I want to get like a keyboard with
Yes.
it.
Hmm.
I think that would like really improve my posture. But I love that you mentioned posture, because even something like the Superman pose, that
Hmm.
posture, it's so powerful.
Hmm.
And a lot of people slump. And something that I get told often is like, you have a really confident walk. And it's, again, coming back to posture, it's like just holding yourself to that standard and that vibration of, yeah,
Hmm.
like, I'm a beautiful woman. I'm smart. I've got like this beautiful day ahead of me. Of course I'm going to walk with my head up high.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I feel like that when I'm like working at my desk as well. Like on those days when like if I'm not using
Mm.
my neck stand and I'm like hunched over or like even in bed working, like I feel like a lot more closed off and like not as productive. And but when I'm like working with my eye level and I'm like everything's level, I feel like a lot more like open and confident and
Yes.
like ready for the day. So, are there any resources that you recommend for anyone looking to learn more about body confidence and holistic health?
Yes, I have a Hatch Path account that I'm on HashPath right now because it's a really great resource where people are coming to look for coaches. I'm in transition right now as I'm opening up a cafe. So I'm not really taking a lot of clients right now because I just want to maintain my level of sanity.
Yeah.
and holding space for people through these transformative moments. I want to make sure that I'm available for that. So you guys can check out my profile and learn more. I don't have much on there right now, but I'll link my HashPath so you can see and really
Yes.
some articles
And
on
we'll
there
add the
too.
link in as well.
Yes,
And
I'll do
tell
that.
me about the cafe, because you briefly mentioned it before, but I need to know more about this.
So it started with my business partner and I wanting to buy out a space, and then that didn't work out. And then God just kept asking me to expand my vision. It's so cool to see the breadcrumbs of this. The entrepreneurial journey is really a personal development journey. So when you treat it as such, it becomes, we could be upset about certain things and we can just continue to grow and expand in terms of this is growing me, I'm learning, what did I learn here? How can I do better? How can I in Toronto where we love cafes.
The internet.
What's going on?
Okay, sorry, the internet like went strangely then, and I just missed the last 2 seconds.
That's okay.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, sure. Listen, we love cafes, right? Like cafe culture, like such a thing for nomads. And I don't really love any cafes. Like Bali really set the standard. I know Amanda
Oh
can
God, yeah.
share. Like, yeah, let's just swim in between meetings.
That's crazy.
And like just having a beautiful spread of food. And I want to bring all the elements of what I love in a cafe into one space. I find that a lot of cafes are either aesthetic, and that's just it, but they're not comfy, or they just don't have really healthy products. And for people that work online that want inspiration, so they're not just working at home, I want a space to give people where they can connect with like-minded individuals, feel inspired, feel cozy, and have healthy options that support their brain, support their energy levels, so they're just not having croissants all day, even though I love croissants. I love them.
And you said it, I know, me too. And you said about having yoga as well. Like yoga would be
So the space
another
we're
part of that.
looking at right now has room for a yoga studio. So fingers crossed. We're still in the process of getting the lease and all that good stuff. So it would have space for that. And it's funny because Amanda and I have been looking for a home for Hypno Yin Yoga. And it's like so cool to think that maybe this could be its home. And just offering resources and workshops where people can really connect with themselves. I feel like in the city, people are quite disconnected because they're quite stressed. And I want to offer a space where people can do that and then have resources. People come to buy a green juice when really they need a gut healing protocol. How can I offer them a service and a product so they leave feeling supported so that they can make better choices outside of the space?
Yeah, no, I love that. And then for reference as well, Amanda is in the chat. She is another one of Michelle's business partners. And you have the Hypno Yin Yoga, which I believe is continuing a little bit as well in Toronto.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We just celebrated our 1 year and that was so beautiful. It felt like we had this baby birthday party. We had a cake. It was so lovely. And, sometimes we forget, because having a business and sharing a new modality, because like Amanda and I just literally created this. There's a lot of moving parts and it can be a lot of work. But when we come back to why we do it and the benefit of what we're doing, it's overwhelming with how something that we created in our head is helping people in real life. We've had a lot of people share really incredible testimonies, and one of them being like this one guy came in and he had back pain and he couldn't run, and after our session his back pain was gone.
Oh wow, that's so good.
So really beautiful things like that. It's like such a beauty, especially creating it with your best friend too, that we get to share with some of our friends. It's been beautiful.
It's been so beautiful to watch it as well. Like I've watched it obviously online, but from like ground zero to where it is now, and it's been so amazing to watch that as well. So I'm so proud of you guys.
Oh, thanks.
And so, what final piece of advice would you give to someone who is just beginning their journey in health and embracing their body?
Start small and build on that momentum. Do a few things really well consistently. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people feel they have this all or nothing mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and um, perfectionism holds us back a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when we allow ourselves to meet ourselves where we're at
Mm-hmm.
and just build on that, and sometimes our belief of I'm not enough writes out the to-do list. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
enough, so I can do all these things, and then we self-sabotage ourselves and set ourselves up for failure because that list is just impossible.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to bed earlier. Maybe that's the biggest thing that people just need to work on, like getting rid of the phones before bed, going to sleep at a decent hour, so then you have energy to go to the gym. Maybe start
Mm-hmm.
there. Maybe it's making sure that you have enough water. Maybe it's cooking your own meals first.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be quite intimidating if someone's getting fast food every day to then have to cook healthy. How about you
Yeah.
just make the pasta at home first? Just start there,
Mm-hmm.
because then you can get better ingredients and you're getting into the habit of cooking for yourself
Mm-hmm.
versus, and then the cooking becomes fun, and then you venture into healthier recipes. So I think allowing yourself to do things slowly is like the way that we get to those big changes.
Yeah, because then that also stops like the yo-yo dieting and the yo-yo kind of like falling off the bandwagon, and then like the shame that's attached to that as well. And like, yeah, that's just, yeah,
Build the
start
habit.
slow and be sustainable.
Build
Yeah.
a habit. I would say choose 3 things, maybe, if that feels good. Remove 3 things. So maybe that's phone, maybe that's like sugar, maybe that's like sleeping late. Add 3 things. Do that for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and then habit stack. And then
Yeah.
and then you're like, yes, I can do this. I can follow through on these 3 simple things. Our brain likes
Mm-hmm.
simplicity. When we make it complicated, we freeze, and then we overanalyze how it needs to be, and then we don't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Simple.
I love that habit stack. So yeah, one, two, just like build it one by
Build
one.
it
I
one
love
by
that.
one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a few things.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then finally, a little fun question. So if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be, and what are you eating, and why?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, I probably selfishly would want to go on a date with Tupac.
Yes,
I
love
think
it.
he's just like so. For me, what I love about him is I love that he seems to embody the masculine and the feminine really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a poet, but then he also is like, a hip hop artist. So I
Mm-hmm.
probably would want to have dinner with him, and I would want to ask him what he thinks about society and dating and hip hop today.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And in terms of what we're eating, I don't know if he would want the same foods as me. But maybe I would have like, I feel like he would really love a burger. I feel like he's a
Mm-hmm.
burger guy, or wings. Um, I would just like get in there and just like be like, just super relaxed.
Yeah,
Were you
I
expecting
love
that
the
answer?
wings. I love the wings. I wasn't expecting Tupac. That's so funny. But also, he does have that lyric, which is in Changes, which is like, we got to change the way we eat, the way we live. So it does match.
Yeah, I feel like like I just have so many. I feel like he's just like philosophical and he gets it,
Yeah.
but then he still embodies that like bad boy swag that I love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
love that. I love that. Okay, so now I know what kind of man you're after as well.
A man with a nose ring. I'm like, oh,
Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for coming on, and I really hope you enjoy the next stand as well when you
I
start
will. I'm
using
gonna
it.
use it right
And I
now.
hope everyone got loads of value from this. And hi, Amanda, as well. She's still here.
My love.
But yeah, thank you so much. I wish you all the best with your cafe and your continued progress. And yes, I'm
Thank you,
looking so
Nicole.
much.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.